Hello everyone, and welcome to our short guide on how to firstly start the Jaggaer chemical inventory system, and then how to add some preferred delivery and search locations so you can easily then do container transfers when you're moving chemicals to different storage locations within a laboratory, or when you wish to move it from one laboratory to another. This is important to know how to do because our chemical inventory management system is how we keep track of where all our chemicals are so that we can give a quick report if there's ever an emergency and we need to show it to any emergency services, and also so that we can make sure we're keeping safe amounts of different chemicals in our different laboratory spaces. So let's begin. First thing we're wanting to do is actually find the chemical inventory management site. And I find the easiest way to do that is just to go straight to a web browser, type in UNSW Chemical Inventory Management. And when you see the list there, one of the first ones that comes up is Jaggaer. When I click through to that, and you'll see there's a couple of different hot links you can use on how to access. One is for operations module. The operations module's for a higher level user who might be actually doing ordering of chemicals and making new barcodes. And then we've got the researcher module, and this is the module that applies to you. So go ahead and click the research module, and then it gives you the opportunity to enter your student ID, and it gives you the guide on how to do that. You need Z followed by your student ID at ad.unsw.edu.au, and then enter the same password that's your Z pass, and you should be able to enter. So I'll just pause this for a second while I put in my details, and then we'll proceed from here. Okay, so we've entered our details and now logged in, and we're presented with our first page. You'll see a bunch of different links for doing things, such as source search, structure search, and other things like container operations and receiving. Obviously, the one we want to eventually use is the container operations. But if you want to do a transfer at the moment, the only delivery location we've got available is this Spree H6 1-162. Now, obviously, there are a variety of different locations and rooms we might wish to add to. So at the moment, none of the ones that we're interested in are available. So we're going to have to add those to get different delivery locations. So to do that, you need to go to the top right of the screen, and you'll see there's three different things where you can add favorites. One's alternate delivery locations, which is what we'll do first. Then we've got preferred search locations and receiving search locations. After this, we're also going to populate those with places we'd like to look, because it's helpful to be able to do things like search a room to see what inventory is in that room, in case you're wanting to know where to find some chemicals, for instance. So let's first go to alternate delivery locations. And for us as Spree researchers, we'll obviously want to click through to Spree and H6, which is our building number or Tyree, and then the relevant floors where you want to add your receiving locations or alternate delivery locations. I manage the labs on level 4, so I'm going to add some areas in level 4 to start. Once I've clicked through to level 4, it gives me a variety of different rooms to work with. So I'm going to add this room here, but often there's also individual delivery locations within the room. So I'm also going to click through to the room itself, and I'm going to add a secondary location in the room, which is gas cabinet 1. I'm then going to go back one step and add some other rooms, locations up on the 4th floor. So as you can see, there's a number of cabinet locations in 418. I'll add all of these. And you can see it populating down the bottom with a list of all the locations we want, including the previous room we did before. So I've just gone back to the floor level by clicking over here on number 4. So I want to add the room itself as well. You may use the room itself rather than a specific location where you've got something benign like a metal that you're going to be keeping in the room, but doesn't require to be in hazardous storage in particular. So we'll also add 421, it's another part of the lab space I'm managing, and our storage locations there. Go to 422 as well. See if we've got, yes we do. So we'll add these individual locations here as well. And we may well also, if we're not working on other floors so much, but we're expecting to take deliveries from other areas, we need to add those spaces. So in my case, another area that I might take deliveries from is the gas cage. So I'm going to add the gas cage as well. All right, so we've now added a series of locations for movements. Now, if I then go to a container operation, I now have a series of different locations where I could deliver a container to. Success. So now we're going to do a movement of a container to demonstrate how to go about that process. So at the moment, I've got a bottle of argon in room 410, but at the moment it says it's in transit. So we want to actually say that it's now in the room. So to do a transfer, the first thing we need to do is enter a relevant barcode. And the barcode will be found on the chemical bottle that you have. You can read that off and then enter it here. Now if you hit search, it should show you the one that you're looking for. So in our case, we've got our argon 5.0 showing in transit. It should be in this location as delivered, but it's currently in transit. So I can add further items if I wish and do a transfer to more than one at a time, as long as they've all been listed and I haven't cleared the list. But for this example, we're just going to do one. So you can see with the drop-down menu here, we've got several options. We can transfer to and then select a location. We can hit dispose or dispose empty. So the cases where you want to use transfer is obviously when you're moving a chemical from one storage location to another. But you also need to know how to use this dispose function, because if you are doing chemical processes and you finish a bottle, once you've followed the correct procedure for rinsing the bottle and you've placed it in the bottle waste bins that are marked in the labs, you need to dispose of that bottle in the inventory system so that we know that it's used. This not only helps us know what chemicals we have from a safety perspective, it also makes it easier for our team to keep enough stock for users in the future. So obviously in this case with the argon, we're doing a transfer to. Then we're going to go down and select the location. So in this case, It's not inside of a gas cabinet in 410. It's strapped to a wall since it's an inert gas. So I'm just going to deliver it to room 410, which is one of the rooms I selected earlier when I was adding lists. So I've selected deliver to, I've got transfer to selected. All I need to do now is hit submit. We've now successfully transferred our bottle of gas. So now I could go and have a look at where that bottle is by doing a search. So now I've gone over to our item and we can see it is now in room 410 and it's not showing as in transit anymore. So success. Okay, the next step, as mentioned earlier, we might want to search for different things. And perhaps for doing things like a lab inventory to know what's in a lab. Now, at the moment, we've got all our different delivery locations listed. So if we want to see what's in one of our laboratories, we can hit the area we're interested in, hit search. Now when we hit search, we'll see a list of all the different chemicals that are currently stored in the given area, and it'll also give further details about the location of where those materials are. So here we can see in the spree areas, room 421, flammable liquids cabinet 1. So if you're looking for some materials in the lab, this is a good way to check if there's still inventory there. I mentioned earlier when we're doing searches, it's helpful to make sure we've added the different spaces, the different search types. So that's the last thing we'll do here before we finish this module. We're going to go into preferred search locations, hit spree, and then H6, and then we want to add our particular areas here. Now, obviously, if you wanted to just be able to search all of spree, then you would add spree. Now, when I try to do that, it said any additional locations must also be at the site level. So this means we need to add further locations by going up the tree at this point. So if we want to be specific, we're needing to add different rooms and spaces we're interested in. Now we've got all those listed, we can easily search in those preferred locations. We're also going to add preferred receiving locations. In this case, I'm going to add, once again, the 4th floor locations which are relevant to me. Okay, so now we've added all our preferred locations, different areas, and it makes it easy to do things such as to lab inventories, finding out areas which are actually relevant to you, as shown before. That concludes the demonstration on how to add search locations and how to do a basic transfer operation. If you've got any further queries or questions, don't hesitate to contact the lab development team or Mabel Fong, who will be happy to help you figure out how to navigate the chemical inventory system. Thanks for your time.